Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel. Today we're going to go over the Great Tribulation. The scriptural reference for this is going to be Matthew chapter 24 verses 1 through 51. Let us begin. It says, Then Jesus went out and departed from the temple, and his disciples came up to show him the buildings of the temple. And Jesus said to them, Do you not see all these things? Surely I say to you, not one stone shall be left here upon another that shall not be thrown down. Now as he sat on the Mount of Olives, the disciples came to him privately, saying, Tell us, when will these things be? And what will be the sign of your coming at the end of the age? And Jesus answered and said to them, Take heed that no one deceives you. Okay, he says, take heed that no one deceives you. Verse 5 says, For many will come in my name, saying, I am the Christ, and will deceive many. Okay? And you will hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that you are not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. For nation will rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there will be famine, pestilences, and earthquakes in various places. All these things are the beginning of sorrows. Okay, the beginning. Verse 9 says, Then they will deliver you up to tribulation and kill you, and you will be hated by all nations for my name's sake. And then many will be offended and will betray one another and will hate one another. Then many false prophets will arise up and deceive many. But the lawlessness will abound. The love of many will grow cold. But he who endures to the end shall be saved. And this gospel of the kingdom will be preached in all the world as a witness to all the nations, and then the end will come. Therefore, when you see the abomination of desolation spoken of by Daniel the prophet, saying in the holy place, Whoever reads, let him understand. Then let those who are in Judea flee unto the mountains. Let him who is on the housetop not go down and take anything out of his house, and let him who is in the field not go back to get his clothes. But woe to those who are pregnant and those who are nursing babies in those days. And pray that your flight may not be in the winter or on the Sabbath. For then there will be great tribulation, such as not been since the beginning of the world until this time, no, nor ever shall be. And unless those days were shortened, no flesh would be saved, but for the elect's sake, those days will be shortened. This is for the elect's sake that those days are going to be shortened. Then if anyone says to you, Look, here is the Christ, or there, do not believe it. For false Christs and false prophets will arise and show great signs and wonders to deceive, if possible, even the elect. See, I have told you beforehand. Therefore, if they say to you, Look, he is in the desert, do not go out. Or look, he is in the inner rooms, do not believe it. Okay, he's telling us do not believe those things. If someone tells you that, don't believe it. Verse 27 says, For as the lightning comes from the east and flashes in the west, so also will the coming of the Son of Man be. That's how it's going to look. Okay? For as the lightning comes from the east and flashes to the west, so also will the coming of the Son of Man be. For wherever the carcass is, there the eagles will be gathered together. Immediately after the tribulation of those days, the sun will be darkened, and the moon will not give its light. Okay? The sun will be darkened, and the moon will not give its light. Okay? The stars will fall from heaven. Okay? The stars will fall from heaven. Okay? In the book of Genesis, it says to us, the birds fly on the face of heaven. So that means that the stars are going to fall out of the sky. I know that may seem, clear to some, but to some it may not. So let's clarify that. Okay? The sun will be darkened. The moon will not give its light. The stars will fall from heaven, and the powers of the heavens will be shaken. It says in verse 30, then the sign of the Son of Man will appear in heaven, and then all the tribes of the earth will mourn, and they will see the Son of Man coming on the clouds of heaven with power and great glory. Verse 31. And he will send his angels with a great sound of a trumpet, and they will gather together his elect from the four winds, from one end of heaven to the other. So this lets us also know that anywhere that we are on the earth, the angels are going to gather us together. Okay, from the four winds. It says, and he will send his angels. So the angels are going to come with a great sound of a trumpet. Okay, this is the sound they're going to make. And they will. So the angels will gather together his elect from the four winds, from one end of heaven to the other. Okay, from one end of heaven to the other, from the four winds. Okay, think about the compass, north, south, east, and west. That's every direction. This is where the angels are going to come from with this sound of a trumpet to gather the elect together. So it does not matter where you are in the world. The angels will gather you together if you are of his elect. Just be sure to be that part. Focus on that part. Verse 32 says, now learn this parable from the fig tree. When its branch has already become tender and puts forth leaves, you know that summer is near. So what this parable is starting to go into is that you can tell the signs of the season, that the season is changing due to the leaves. Okay, it says when its branch has already become tender and put forth leaves, you know that summer is near. So in verse 33 it says, so you also, when you see all these things, know that it is near at the doors. When you see these things happening that he's described already, the wars and rumors of wars, the famines and pestilence and earthquakes in various places, and what else did they talk about? It talked about the lawlessness, the betraying, the hatred for one another. I mean, some of those things, nation against nation, the abomination of death, of desolation spoken of by Daniel, all those things and more. When you start to see these things happening, you see the sun being darkened, you see the moon not giving its light, when you see the stars falling from heaven, so that you also, when you see all these things, verse 33, know it is near and at the door. It's at the door. It's right here, right now. Wait a minute. This is happening. Hold on. This is near and at the door. Okay? So when you start to see that happen, know that it is near and is at the door. He's giving us signs. These are the things that we should be looking for. And stay right. Verse 34 says, assuredly I say to you, this is Jesus speaking yet again. Assuredly I say to you, this generation will by no means pass away till all these things take place. All the things have to take place, not some. all of the things that he just described had to take place. Verse 35 says, heaven and earth will pass away, but my words will by no means pass away. Heaven and earth will pass away, but what I just said to you, that's not going to pass away. Verse 36 says, but of that day and hour no one knows, not even the angels of heaven, but my Father only. But as the days of Noah were, so also will the coming of the Son of Man be. Now he's going to describe those things. It says, for as in the days before the flood, they were eating and drinking, marrying and giving in marriage until the day that Noah entered the ark. They just kept on going on with life until the day that Noah entered into the ark. They didn't care. He built the ark. He done told everybody. He done said it 1,000 times. Nobody wanted to listen. Nobody wanted to believe him. But he kept building that ark anyway. All the way up until he entered the ark. The animals was in there. Him and his family was in there. The door was closed. Okay. It says, and did not know until the flood came and took them all away. They didn't even know because they weren't paying attention. They were too busy eating and drinking, marrying and giving into marriage, doing everything else but paying attention. It says, and did not know, in verse 39, and did not know until the flood came and took them all away. So also will the coming of the Son of Man be. Verse 40 says, then 2 men will be in the field. One will be taken and the other left. Okay? One will be taken and the other will be left. 2 women will be grinding at the mill, and one will be taken and the other left. Watch therefore, for you do not know what hour your Lord is coming. But know this, that if the master of the house had known what hour the thief would come, he would have watched and not allowed his house to be broken into. If he would have known what time the thief was going to come, he would have been there watching, waiting, and paying attention. So by Christ telling us these things, this is him telling us, hey, watch, wait, and pay attention to these things so that your house doesn't get broken into. Pretty much. Verse 44 says, therefore you also be ready, for the Son of Man is coming at an hour that you do not expect. You're not going to be expecting it, but you're supposed to be ready. It says, therefore you also be ready. Just be ready, because you don't know what hour he's going to come. So be ready at all times, not some of the time, not half-stepping, all the time. Be ready. That's the thing, because he's giving us fair warning of what's going to happen. You see, when you see this stuff happening, you know, hey, be ready. Don't get ready. Be ready. Look, oh Lord, have mercy. This is happening. The sun is going dark. I'm ready though. I'm ready. And it says, verse 45, who then is a faithful and wise servant, whom his master made ruler over his household to give them food in due season? Verse 46, blessed is that servant whom his master, when he comes, will find him doing so. Okay? Let your master find you doing the right thing and not the wrong thing. Verse 47 says, assuredly I say to you that he will make him ruler over all his goods. Not some, but all. He said, assuredly I say to you that he will make him ruler over all his goods. Verse 48 says, but if that evil servant says in his heart, my master is delaying his coming, he's not coming, he's delaying it, he's going to postpone it for another day or two, I am not ready, whatever. He says that? No, he says, verse 48, but if that evil servant says in his heart, my master is delaying his coming, and begins to beat his fellow servants and to eat and drink with the drunkards, the master of that servant will come on a day when he is not looking for him, and at an hour that he is not aware of, and will cut him in two, and appoint him his portion with the hypocrites. There shall be weeping and gnashing of teeth. Okay? That's what he says. Don't say within your heart that the master is delaying his coming. Don't start to beat your fellow servants and eat and drink with the drunkards and marrying and giving into marriage and not paying attention. He said, blessed is the servant whom his master, when he comes, will find him doing. Okay? You want to make sure that you're ready. He said, surely I say to you in verse 47 that he will make him ruler over all his goods. He didn't say over all his bads or over all the bad things. He said over all the goods. Assuredly I say to you. So with that being said, we're going to go ahead and stop right there, because he's given us a lot already. He's given us some signs. He's given us some ways to know that he's on his way. He said, so you also, when you see these things, know that it is near and at the door. He gave us so many signs, so many descriptions, so many ways to know that the Great Tribulation is going on. He told us the beginning of it. He gave us the middle. He gave us, he's given us portions of what is going to take place to the end. He told us to be ready, though. You don't know what time he's going to come. Be ready. Don't matter what time he come. I'm ready. Whatever time he come, I'm ready. What's up? Be ready. Don't try to get ready. Be ready. Make sure that your heart is right. Don't let your outside be right and your inside is wrong. What is the intent of your heart when you do things? That's what you need to focus on. Christ is looking at our hearts and our minds and our soul. He's supposed to love him. So that means, he said, those that love me keep my commandments. That means, what am I saying to you? What am I telling you to do? What am I asking you to do? Do that. I told you to love. I told you to have mercy. I told you about the greatest of all things is to love. Make sure that when you do things, if you do it out of love, then that is right. But if you do it and it's not out of love, that's sin. If you're doing it and it's not out of love, then don't do it, because that's sin. Get your heart right. Don't let your outside be right and your inside is filthy. The tribulation is real. Some of these things have already happened, mind you. And he said that some of the things that he listed for already, he said was the beginning. And we passed the beginning. Because I know for a fact that, we're being hated for his name's sake. They don't like us. They don't want us to say too much. They don't want us to talk about certain things. They hate what we have to say, because it convicts them. It condemns them when they feel some kind of way about what you're saying. I express to you guys a lot that, I'm told that I'm super spiritual, and I'm okay with that. I don't care. My soul is on the line every second. I don't care. Let me be super spiritual then. I'd rather be known for being super spiritual than super something else that's not spiritual. Let me be considered super spiritual then. Let it be right. But I know that people have said to me, people don't want to talk about the Lord all the time. Like, I do. Because that's going to keep me ready. If my mind is always on him and what he wants me to do and what he wants me to say and how he wants me to be and, what thus saith, I know that I'm ready, because he going to catch me having a conversation about him. He going to have me, he's going to catch me reading his word. He's going to catch me telling somebody about his goodness. Let it be that. I'd rather get caught doing that. Like the good servant, what he said, blessed. Blessed is that servant. I want to be that one. I don't want to be the servant that got caught beating my fellows, beating somebody down and eating and drinking with the drunkards. No, thank you. I don't want to miss the kingdom. I don't. So that makes me, not be around certain people or, people that can't handle, me being excited or me being happy or me, bearing the fruits of the Spirit when it comes to, speaking about the Lord. Like, I'm sorry, but that's personal. You can't handle me telling you something good? Why is that? That's weird to me, but let the Lord bless. Whatever the situation is, let the Lord bless. Let it be a blessing. I'm going to start saying that again. Let it be a blessing, whatever it is. Sheesh. Okay. So with that being said, what we have gone over is Matthew chapter 24. And that was verse 1 through 51. And that is the Great Tribulation. Be ready.